Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to our show in today's broadcast, The Trades Unveiled. With today's topic, the power of Mbti in self-discovery. I'm your host, Akhmad Syaifudin Arrizky, and today I'm with many inspiring students. There are,
My name is Yoan Indriaty Kiuk.
My name is Riska Agustine Rahayu.
My name is Nadilla Aziza.
and today we got the chance to invite some of the special guests, an expert in psychology. Please welcome Miss Winona, Alvina, Mayla, right?
Kiuk, yes.
Okay, so before digging deep into the discussion of MBTI and also self-discovery, of course, we have to know first about the history, the term, and the background of MBTI, right? Since based from my experience as a fellow university student myself, my friends often do not know. They only know about the surface of MBTI, but they do not know about the background of MBTI because they only heard it on the internet because it's really popular. And given the chance that we have Miss Winona right here with us in this opportunity, so I think it's wise for us to hear from such a knowledgeable expert about the history of MBTI.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. So my name is Winona Mayla, and today we're going to discuss about the history of MBTI, or also known as the Myers-Briggs Types Indicator, which is famous lately. So in the simple terms of MBTI is one of the psychological tests designed to measure a person's basic, purely psychological reference in seeing the world and making decisions. Before we get into the MBTI, we will discuss the famous psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, or we can call him as Sigmund Freud. According to Mr. Freud, there are three elements in the human psychological.
Diskusi perpustakaan digital. Dimohon untuk tetap tenang, tidak bersuara atau tertawa keras dan bercanda. Pahami dan taati aturan yang ada di atas meja. Jika tidak mampu mematuhi peraturan tersebut, dipersilakan untuk meninggalkan ruangan. Sekali lagi kepada pengguna ruang diskusi perpustakaan digital, dimohon untuk tetap tenang, tidak bersuara atau tertawa keras dan bercanda. Pahami dan taati aturan yang ada di atas meja. Jika tidak mampu mematuhi peraturan tersebut, dipersilakan untuk meninggalkan ruangan.
Well, I'm so sorry for the interruption, Miss. You could go on with your explanation. No, your part.
Okay. So, I will explain again. So, before we get into MBTI, we will discuss the famous psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, or we can call him as Sigmund Freud. According to Mr. Freud, there are three elements in the human psychological structure. These elements consist of the ID, ego, and superego. These three things are separated but still interrelated. Sigmund Freud analogized the three elements like an iceberg, which is visible on the surface only a small part of the whole element. Okay, then we will discuss one by one first, so that we understand what Ms. Freud's theory has to do with the MBTI. The first is the ID. What is the ID? So the ID is a person's personality. It can be represented as a basic natural needs such as eating, drinking, and sleep. The ID works on the pleasure principles. It seeks instant gratification of humans' wants and needs. If these are not met, a person may become tense, anxious, or angry. The next one is ego. Ego deals with reality, and ego is trying to fulfill the ID's desire in a social acceptable way. For example, by delaying gratification and helping to relieve the tension that the ID feels if the desires is not immediately fulfilled. While the superego is the moral aspect of a personality that's acquired from a parental upbringing or norms and values in society and is based on morals and judgment about the rights and wrong. Although the superego and ego can reach the same decisions about something, the superego's reason for making a decision are based more on moral values, whereas the ego's decision is based more on what other people think. Well, these three elements then became Carl Jung guides in making his theory about personality. Then, who is Carl Jung? Carl Jung theory was used by Catherine Cook Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, a mother and a doctor who creates the MBTI personality test. And did you know that MBTI test used to include only 20 questions to determine your personalities? This led to the MBTI being debated by psychologists. Moreover, Briggs and Myers were not psychologists, they are writers. However, with the development of time and knowledge, these experts developed this test to become more accurate with up to 50 or 100 questions. That's the history of the MBTIs.
Wow, that's a really interesting and fascinating history. Now I wonder if the other guests maybe have something to say about the history of MBTI and psychology in general. Maybe after hearing what Miss Winona have said, maybe if you have.
I was surprised with this history from MBTI that I don't mind that MBTI is not come from the psychology person, and I don't think that MBTI have the deep history like that. I think it's just for fun. So wow, so
It's a new
surprising.
information, yes, okay.
It's surprising, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also got surprised by the explanation Miss Winona explanation. I am surprised that the one who found MBTI test is not from psychologists but instead from journalists, and I was surprised to find out about it.
For me, because I just learned about MBTI and I I ever to hear about ID and superego and ego is part of MBTI. Before I heard about it and I don't know, I don't understand about the meaning. I only know about ID, ego, and superego, and so I'm quite interested with the your explanation. So I
Yes.
get the new knowledge about part of MBTI.
Yes, because superego, ego, and IDs is related to the theory that is used by the MBTI. So that's the history
Yes.
for it.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that these three components is also related to us as social creature, right,
Yes.
Miss?
Yes.
And then by the way, I also heard that from my research. Okay, MBTI has four domains, right?
Yes, it's correct.
Uh, would you mind to explain this to us?
Okay, so yes, Arrizky is correct. So there are four domains in MBTI to categorize person's personality. These four domains developed by Briggs and Myers are: the first one is introvert and extrovert, the second one is sensing and intuition, the third one is thinking and feeling, the fourth one is judging and perceiving. So before we're getting into the explanation, is there any questions that would you like to ask about the MBTI?
I have. So, because we have our expert today in our podcast, so I want to ask about the differences between an extrovert and introverted person. Is there any characteristic or making it like, oh, this is introverted person, or this is extroverted person, and something like that?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the questions, Nadilla. And I would like to explain about the differences between extroverts and introverts. So the first one is about extroverts. Extroverts are related to humans' behavior that likes interaction in a social environment. This personality type is more confident and open to people. They like to focus on their inner feelings and opinions. They get bored quickly in solitude and need socialization or communication in a public or private settings. In a simple way, extroverts are those who likes to fill their energy with the great outdoors and social interaction, while the introverts are one of the personalities that focus on internal thoughts, moods, and feelings. Introverts are a lone wolf. They prefer to have time with only one or two person during their interactions. They are more comfortable and focused when spending time alone. However, people consider this personality type to be socially inept and quiet. In a simple way, these introverts feel their energy with having some me time and away from social events. Does it answer your questions, Nadira?
Yes, I think I found out the difference between both the two introverted and extroverted, and I was clear enough.
Okay.
Okay, and if you might, I would ask that in your personally, do you think that you whether you are introverted or extrovert person personally,
Yes.
which one do you think?
Thank you so much for the question. So basically, uh, from the MBTI test that I have done before, I was found myself as an introverted person. So when I'm in my own world, I think I feel more comfortable and more relaxed with my own zone, and I often think of staying away from people and socializing with them because I think it's hard, and this is but as a human we are certainly need to socialize with other people too, right?
Yes,
And
that's right.
well, I think this is the weaknesses as introverted person, and that's why I have to open myself to more socialize with others, and because we need someone as chat buddy or playmate and so on.
I see.
Yeah,
Yes.
I totally agree what you have said before. Like, uh, as an introverted person, to me, finding that I need to open myself to other people too, because there's a chance, right, where I cannot fix my own problem,
Yes.
and there's a chance that there's people outside needing my help, and they do not find someone to help them. But then me being close will not only hinder the opportunity for both me being helped and also I'm helping them. Um, and yeah, that's true what you said, and
Yeah.
I'm totally agree. And perhaps, if you mind, once again, I would like to ask about what's your how opinion, how do you feel about the extroverted people, and maybe based on your experience when you are interacting with them.
Alright, based on my experiences, I do look with extroverted person as like lively person or person that fun and person who can make friends with everyone and outspoken. Also, they are having free with their own world and themselves. And I think that is the strengthness with extroverted person. And I think these characters are difficult to do for as an introverted person.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you. I mean, me personally, I having like a extroverted best friend, and he is always like full of energy. He's always talk a lot, and it seems that he never
Yes.
tired. Like
Yes.
whenever
They
I,
never
I
run
put
out
them
of
down,
energy.
yeah, I lost my social energy very quickly. But
Yeah.
this boy, he just keeps talking and
Just keep
talking, like
talking because extrovert gains energy when they are
yeah.
talking to their friends.
And we find that kind of a little bit annoying, right? When we are tired, but yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, the
Yeah.
extroverted people,
As long
their
as you can give
yeah,
us space, it's
yeah,
fine, I think.
their behavior makes the world Shy.
Shine.
Yeah,
It's become more colorful actually.
yeah, more colorful. Like imagine if the whole world is silent.
Oh,
What would
it's
happen?
silent. We still need those extroverts
Yeah,
to
we
feel
still need
our
those people, even though they're a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes they can become a little bit annoying, but when they are not around, we're gonna miss them.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's maybe enough for the first domain.
Okay.
And here comes the second domain. If you mind, please
Okay.
once again explain to us.
Okay, so now let's get to the second domain that about the differences between sensing and intuitive. Okay, so these two personality types are closely related to how people acquire and analyze any information they receive. Well, let's have a look at the following explanations. So the first one is about sensing. People who are categorized as sensing focus on what the five senses can perceive. Sensing seeks information through data and facts that can be confirmed through concrete data, while intuitive persons like to see things through interconnections and a relationship between existing patterns. Intuitive people refers to gather ideas and future possibilities. The information obtained by someone with an intuitive personality tends to be more abstract and theoretical. They use their gut feelings when speculating and analyzing data. Okay, so is there any questions about the sensing and intuitive?
I have a question for this material. So, Miss Winona said that people who have this function tend to believe and trust things that could be sensed by the five senses,
Yes.
right?
Yes, right.
What does it mean, and how does it differ from how the institution function works?
Miss Winona, would you mind to continue?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Okay, so thank you so much for the questions, Yoan. Well, first, we have to understand what is mean by concrete data that can be acceptable by five senses. So, information that is perceptible to the five senses, such as sight, touch, smell, taste, and hearing, is referred as the concrete data. So, the definition of things that can be perceived by the five senses is a coherent and visible form of data, such as photos or incidents that we can see directly or we can feel it with our hands, like files maybe. It is important for them to include evidence rather than just talk. While in contrast, people who prefer to use their intuitions are not focused on data that can be perceived by the five senses. They trust their gut feelings in getting information, and they develop and connect dots to reach the conclusion. So those people who use their intuition are likely to see around and trying to find the information by connecting dots, while the sensing one use their data that is can be seen or can be touched by them. I think that's the differences between sensing and intuitive. Is that answer your questions, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe I would like to add some of my experience, and then as a person who has intuitive function myself, my MBTI is INFJ. So based on my experience, the main difference between people that has like intuition function, we're more to like Miss Wina said, we tends to guess people by the pattern and also based on our experience. For example, whenever I met like a group of stranger, I unconsciously observing them and judging them by the way they
Yeah.
talk and behave, the way they communicate with their friends, the choice of their words, and then their tone when they're speaking, their body language, and things like that. And based on that, I could kind of guessing whether this person is nice, whether he is arrogant, or whether he is like uh, nice people or not. So based on that and based on my experience, and also intuitive also work on my relationship with people that I've known for very long. For example, my friends. Whenever they are feeling sad and whenever they want something, I know what they want and I know what they feel before they even say a word to me because there's I know how they behave and I know that they might be depressed or they might be sad based on their expression and things like that. Now, if on the other hand, people with sensing function, they really need like the five senses, right, to in order to believe or to believe things. So, for example, and the problem raises when an sensing person and intuitive person interact is that you might feel that the your friend who is sensing type, you might feel that he or she is not sensitive with your condition whenever you're sad, and that he or she is not really know what you want already. And I think it's just the way they are. You cannot change it. So the solution would be something like understand each other, understand that your friend or maybe your partner in life is not that sensitive type. So you have to communicate clearly on what you want and not giving like a sign like you're not giving like a sign
like a body sign.
yeah that like a kind like a girl sign. You don't give sign, and then you also have to communicate. For example, to your friend, I'm sad right now. Could you help me? And that's the way you do to interact with people, with your friends who is sensing type. You're not giving them signs.
Yeah,
So
like
I
telling
think
it directly.
yeah. So I think that's it from my experience. What do you think, Miss?
Yeah, I think it's quite relate because when you are facing with people with who has sensing personalities, it is better for you to directly say
Yeah,
something to them. Like if you want something or if you want to express your feeling, you can directly tell them like, please, can you help me, rather than saying that oh it's fine. Then hoping them to force to helping you gitu
yeah,
lah. Right. I think that's all
yeah. Since it will be hurtful to you, right?
Yes.
Hoping them to
Yeah,
understand,
yeah.
but they do not understand you. So
Yeah. So they need to be told directly.
yeah, directly.
Okay.
Okay, that's about it, I guess. Okay, now let's move to the third domain,
Yeah.
as I assume.
Okay.
Would you mind? Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Arrizky, and thank you so much for the experiences
Yeah.
that you tell before. So, all right, let's get going to the third domain, and I will explain about the differences between feeling and thinking. So, the first one is people with feeling preference tend to make decisions based on emotions, value, and social considerations. They approach life with feeling, empathy, and sensitivity to the feelings for others. With this means they often prioritize interpersonal relationship and the well-being of others around them. While thinking in MBTI refers to individuals who are more likely to use logic, objective analysis, and rational consideration when making decisions. They try to separate emotions from the decision making process and focus on factors that can be objectively measured and analyzed. People with thinking preference are often seen as objective, analytical, and tend to make decisions based on available facts and data, while the feeling person is trying to make decisions based on their feelings and others. Okay, so for this explanation, is there any questions maybe?
Yes, I would like to ask. It's regarding the feeling function.
Yes.
So when I'm in a discussion situation, and then there are several opinions that I actually don't agree with, and but as a person who thinks about other people feelings, I choose to keep my opinion and I keep silent. And then my question is, what is your response? And there is a solution about this situation.
Okay, so thank you so much for your question, Riska. It's really hard for us, especially for those who are used feelings when we have different opinions. Sometimes we feel like we're scared to hurt their feelings with our different opinions. Well, I have some tips for handling these different opinions in discussion group. So the first one is make a good choice of words before starting to speak. This helps you to overcome differences of opinions. Being reactive to everything people do and say is your first mistake in finding solutions to problems. At that point, your emotions come into the conversation. So it will be better if you try to make a good sentences, to choose good choices of words before starting to speak. Okay, so the second one is to clarify your statement. It is important that you repeat and clarify your opinion. You can start by explaining in more details even you saw. This is a kind of clarifications between what you saw and what you think. This is done to avoid different perceptions and avoid misunderstanding to other persons. And the last one is use low voices and volumes. This is very, very important. The tone and volume of your voice when expressing your opinions affects the other person's reaction. If you raise the tone of your voice, the other person may become offended. This is why you should lower the tone and volume of your voice so that you can emphasize the words in your explanation without offending the other persons. These three things will help you to express your opinions without fear of hurting others. It is also important to remember that we should never impose our opinions to others. Being respectful is the key to achieving a good decision in a group discussion. So, what do you think?
From Miss Winona explain, it was very clear and answering my question. And I hope I can apply the solution given by Miss Winona.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss, for your brilliant answer. And maybe now let's move on into the next and the last domain.
Yes, that's correct. So, okay, let's get going to the last domain. Last but not least, is about judging and perceiving. So, judging is a personality type that tends to be assertive and firm. People with judging personalities tend to be very organized with their life. They like to make plans before they do something, and this is lead them to difficulties when there is a changes in the schedule that doesn't match their original plan. They sometimes become panic when they are changing in their plans. While perceiving is a personality types that tends to be more flexible and adaptive. Even with things that they have never been faced before, they tend to be more change friendly and they don't mind if there are any sudden changes of plans. They will try to adapt and accept new things. That's the differences between judging and perceiving. Is there any question with this?
Well, me as a host, I would like to ask question too, if you
Sure.
don't mind. Well, as someone who has the judging function, I often find it hard for myself to open to critique, especially those spicy ones.
Ah, I see.
With the harsh word.
Yeah.
So, how do you have any tips for me, maybe to be more open to critics?
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the question, Arrizky. It's true that judging personalities tend to have a harder time in accepting critics, especially when it's harsh, the harsh one, and it's different from our perspective. And I think I can give you some advice on how to accept harsh critics in the future. The first one is pause before reacting. So when you're giving critics, the first thing you should do is pause. Pause for a brief moment can help you process what you are being told and allows you to prevent any reflect reaction or defensiveness. This also gives you a chance to remain calm and cognizant of your facial expressions. Yes, and keep that in mind. You have to listen to understand. Listen closely to the critics without interrupting. And when the other person finish speaking, repeat back what you have heard from them. This will reassure them that you understood the feedback or give them the opportunity to address any misunderstanding. Sometimes when people deliver critics, they are nervous, which means that what they're telling you may not be expressed perfectly and successfully. Repeating what they said could help resolve any miscommunications. Okay, and the next one is express appreciation and ask questions. This is very important. Even though it is bad or it is good, you have to always give them appreciation for giving you care by critics. After confirming that you fully understand the feedback you're being given, the next step you should take it to express appreciation by saying thank you. Telling them that you appreciate doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with the assessment. The next step you should take is to ask questions to better understand the issues. If necessary, find solutions for improving upon the weakness or resolving the issues. Depending on the circumstances, you can ask the colleagues for examples of what they refer to clarify your understanding. And the next one is to close the issue or ask to follow up later. If you identify or a solution and acknowledge that you're going to differently do it in the future, you can thank them again and bringing it to your attention and close the issues. Okay, and I also have the additional suggestion for how to embrace critics in maybe workplace or with your friends or something. Okay, so the first one is reframe how you think of critics. Remind yourself that the best opportunity for professional growth often come in form of feedbacks. By thinking about critics as just another way to gather feedbacks, it becomes easier to look our past, our emotional response, and see our opportunities to get being a better person, to being a better version of yourself. And the next one is don't let it get personal. If you find the critics troubling, schedule a time to follow up this person or try to communicate with them. Try to express your feeling that you are not comfortable with their critics. This way is to avoid the misunderstanding and to avoid miscommunication between you and the person who gives you critics. And if these critics are still bothering you after you talk to the person, you can distract yourself by having a good time with your friends or hanging with them. Like, go for a walk or calling your friends who can make you laugh. I think that's all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Miss, for your brilliant answer once more. Your tips on how to embrace critique and be more open to it was really shocked me inside because what you said before, like we have to pause before we say something back, right? Well,
Yes. You have to listen to them
yeah,
to
personally,
know what they want to say with
yeah,
us.
personally, as a person who is like dramatically react to people,
Yeah.
I sometimes when I heard that what they say might influence me,
Yeah.
like I might say that I don't like them and things like that.
It's a normal thing to feel bad when sometimes people criticize us with bad words. But sometimes we know that every person has different personalities.
Yeah.
So the way they show their care is sometimes different. They can become very nice or very harsh to us. Just trying to remember that every critic has a meaning and an intention to make you even better than before.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a critic could be some appreciation from
Yeah.
that person who critic
Yeah.
us. They are deep down care about us, maybe, right?
Maybe.
In their intentional, but since
Sometimes.
they are care with us, so they're giving critic for us to be a better individual at the end.
Yes.
Well, I think we have already covered the four domains of MBTI. So, and it's a really interesting explanation from you.
Yeah.
And maybe for the rest of the guests, what do you think about this discussion about the four domain of MBTI. Well, personally, I'm finding those four domain to be really interesting and related to us as human. It helped me to kind of see like the different type of how we think and how we approach things.
It's
Like
also helped
yeah,
us to become more understand with our friends that
yeah,
we have different personalities and we can like understanding them and accepting the differences between us.
yeah. Like the example of feeling and thinking
Yes.
type. It's really makes me able to understand the difference between those two types of human. Okay, so for example, if I'm having like a friend with thinking type, maybe he is like sometimes appear to me as an egoistic person,
Yeah,
as
see.
person who doesn't really care about the other,
About
but
feelings.
yeah, about the feeling of other. But turns out it's just like the way they are. They're thinking about the
Yeah.
possible best outcome.
They never mean to hurt others,
Yeah, they
but
never mean.
they always put their thinking to
Yeah,
get the decision for others without thinking about their feelings.
yeah, that's right. They're using their logical.
Yeah, logical and
Yeah,
analytical.
logic. Yeah, they're using their logic for the best solution and not letting their feeling influence. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really wise. I think.
Yeah, that's really wise.
Yeah, that's. But in the end, like both type has their strength and
Yeah,
weaknesses.
there's
Yeah,
strength
so
and
that's what I
weaknesses.
think about the four domain, and maybe the other guesses have some opinion. Maybe want to say something.
I think it's so interesting to know about MBTI, and I don't know that it's later in the MBTI. Someone MBTI is represents his or her personalities.
Yes.
It means that knowing someone MBTI is we can know about their personality as far
Yes, and become closer maybe with them. We can also respect them, respect the differences between us. Like, yes, every human is actually unique with their own personalities. It doesn't mean that they are bad. It's just because we have different opinions and the way we think, the way we feel, the way we take decisions. It's all different, and it doesn't mean that humans are bad or good. They're actually good, and it's just the way they express how they feel, how they think. It's different.
So I want to ask also,
Yes.
and I think each of the four components of MBTI has its own uniqueness and characteristic, and mm, for the each of the four components such as introverted and extroverted, there are differences also. Like introverted is always looking to their comfort zone, and extroverted looking as always fun with others and having free with their own world and themselves. So I think this is we should understand as an intelligent humans being.
Yes.
I have an opinion. I think about the four component of MBTI. It make me understand more about people's personality, especially myself. After doing the test and I getting the result that I was a feeling person, I feel relate to Miss Winona explanation before, and I can treat other people according to their personality. That's all.
Yeah, well, thank you for the guests' opinions about the four domain of MBTI, and maybe it's time now to move to the main topic of today's podcast since we only have like 15 minutes left.
20.
So yeah, okay. So the main topic is self discovery. Before I ask about the the students' guest opinion about self-discovery, it is more wise to hear from the expert first about what is self-discovery.
Okay, so I will explain about what is self-discovery and why is it related to MBTI. So self-discovery is the process of understanding your true self, your values, your needs and wants, even what food you like or dislike. You might have naturally learned some of these things about yourself over time. Yet, for a lot of people, we have a way of losing touch with our values and hiding our own motivation and preferences even from ourselves. Going deeper into self discovery can transform your life. It's one thing you know that personality types is like knowing your favorite meal, but the true self discovery starts when you are evaluate your life and think about what energizing you, what and what is not. What will brings joy into your life and what inspires you to jump out of the bed every morning. And MBTI helps you with it. Teenagers are in constant stage of self-discovery and exploration of their identity. The MBTI can provide them with a framework to understand their personal preference and uncover insight into their own strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. So, teenagers often face challenges related to self-esteem and confidence. The MBTI can help them embrace their uniqueness, personal strength, and fostering a sense of self-acceptance and empowerment. By understanding that there are different ways to be successful and valuable, teenagers can gain confidence in expressing their authentic selves. And as the teenagers start considering their future careers and education, MBTE can also provide valuable insights. It offers a framework for understanding their preference, their interests, their strengths, in guiding them to informed decisions. Studies have found that certain tendencies among individuals with different MBTI traits, for example, like ENFJ that are recommended to become teacher or psychiatrists because they like to listen others and good at guiding people. As a tool for personal growth, the MBTI encourages self-reflection and develop of new skills beyond one's comfort zone, and despite its usefulness, it is essential for us to recognize ourselves. I think that's all for my
Well,
explanation.
yeah, thank you, Miss, for the explanation. Maybe now it's time for the students' guess on what you guys think about self-discovery. It is about the benefit of also knowing or studying MBTI in accordance with self-discovery. Do you find that these two relationship is really strong? Maybe if you mind to.
Of course, I think self-discovery is very important for us to find the identity and find the right environment, especially as a university student. It can help us to determine our self and knowing that is it suitable for us or
Yes.
not, like that. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, what about the others?
I think knowing ourselves is a vital aspect for us as and college students, and it could help us to maximize and maximize our potential and make informed choices and develop stronger relationship with others and navigate the complexion of the academic successes and personal life more effectively. In addition, I think that when we already know ourselves, and it will be easy for us to set our goals in the future and what we want in the future, and then the result will be well organized. And this is absolutely the important should we know about self discovery in BTI.
Yes.
About self-discovery, in my opinion, by knowing myself, I can control myself when doing something or when when I'm interact with other people, and also I can make a choice for myself in the future when I wanna work like that. Things.
Yeah, thank you for the opinions, guesses. Now, personally, I have opinions too about the self-discovery. Uh, I'm really agree with all of you about the importance of self-discovery. For me, specifically, self-discovery is very important on mitigating our weaknesses and also improve our strength.
Yes.
For example, if we know that one of our weakness is impulsive behavior, then we could search on how to overcome
Yes.
impulsive. For example, whenever we want to buy product, whenever we want to say something, we have to pause first
Yes.
and don't immediately act, because the thing that we might try to do is an impulsive act,
Yes.
and in the end we would it would it would bring harm to us, as we might buy product. For example, we might buy a new phone even though our current phone is already fine, but it's because we are impulsive,
Yeah.
then we are wanting to buy the newest phone.
Yeah.
And then also about the way we communicate, sometimes when we what we want to say to person, whenever we want to joke, for example, we don't need to joke in that moment, but because we are impulsive, then we say that thing, and that at the end of the day it could bring harm to us. And I think it's really wonderful what self-discovery could bring to us. We could mitigate our weaknesses, and also by improving our strength, by self-discovery. For example, if we know that our strength is organized, then we could improve that aspect. Am I right, Miss?
Yes, that's completely right.
Okay, and also for what your explanation about potentially finding suitable jobs for us through self-discovery. I think it's really important because we right now as a university student,
Yes. We
there
are
is
so close to working
there's
environments.
the working. I mean, it's like
And MBTI can be a test that we can consider to guide us in choosing a work,
choosing a work.
like knowing ourselves that we are suitable for this work or not. Like sometimes that people who are have like introvert and personality to become an MC is not quite suitable, but sometimes there are some of their aspect that can also put them to right like that. Like maybe MCs are more suitable for those who are extroverts that can shows more of their emotions, shows more of their opinions or feelings rather than the introverts. But it doesn't mean that the introverts are not suitable for being an MC or something like that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Miss. And I think that's what we discuss in this podcast already covers the topics that we're talking, and it's about the power of MBTI and self-discovery. And now I would like to conclude what we're discussing in this podcast. So today we talk about MBTI and also self-discovery. We talk on how the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator or MBTI came to be. It started with ideas from Sigmund Freud about how people think and behave. Later, Carl Jung, right? Expanded on these ideas, and then the mother and daughter, Catherine Cook Briggs and Briggs Myers, used this concept to make the MBTI test.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and then the MBTI test has changed over time. Initially, it had only 20 questions and was made by people not even expert in psychology. They are journalists. But now, with more questions, it's become more accurate and better for the test to understanding personalities. As Miss Luna explained, the MBTI test categorize people into four main domains of function: extrovert or introvert, sensing or intuitive, feeling or thinking, and also judging or perceiving. These domains, it's like a day and night. They are different, but these domains help us understand how people see the world and make decisions. And because of that, it helps also in self-discovery. Now, self-discovery is an essential journey to truly understand our values, desire, and also motivation. Everyone actually learns some things about themselves, like their favorite foods or favorite hobbies.
Yes.
However, deeper self-understanding involves recognition what truly matters, what energizes us, what gives us purpose in life. For teenager, this journey is even more crucial because we're not established yet. We're not
Yes.
working right. Yeah. As we have to navigate through the complexity of finding our true identity and also self-esteem. Now, the MBTI plays a significant role in this process, especially for teenagers. By using MBTI, teenagers can gain insight into their personal preferences, strengths, weaknesses, and also motivation. It helps them to understand that there are various ways to be successful and valuable. It makes them more confident. Um, it makes the introverted person feel that even though I'm not socialized that much with other people, but I'm still valuable and I have my own way to be a successful person. For instance, such the example is INFJ type. Mm, Uh, INFJ is the type that listen more to people and have high empathy. So the job suitable for them, like Miss Winona said, might be like uh, becoming a teacher or psychiatry, do their empathic side and skills in guiding others and listening to others. And furthermore, as a teenager, it's important about thinking about future and also educational path. The MBTI provides a valuable framework. It offers guidance based on their interests, strengths, and also preferences, assisting them in making more informed decisions. Embracing the insights from the MBTI can also boost their confidence, making them to express their authentic selves and understand that everyone has unique strengths. However, while the MBTI offers many benefits, it's essentially to approach it with awareness of a limitation, since nothing perfect in this world. While it aids a stance of self-reflection and growth, it should be part of a broader approach to self-discovery, recognizing that every individual is multifaceted and cannot be entirely defined by a single personality test. So that's for the conclusion of our today podcast with the theme "The Power of MBTI in Self-Discovery." I'm your host today, Ahmad Syaifudin saying thank you for listening and watching our podcast, and I thank you to all of the guests that could be here to participate with me and giving their opinions and also insight into today's topic. That's all for me and that's all from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.